I've been playing Starfield a bit since it went live on Thursday, and with about 15 hours on it so far, I wanted to give some of my thoughts on the game, how I'm feeling, and just share some of my experiences. Starting off, I'm really enjoying this game. Skyrim was high fantasy with dragons and magic. Fallout 4 was a post-apocalyptic retro future. The best way that I could describe Starfield's aesthetic is grounded sci-fi. It's all futuristic, but it still feels possible, and a lot of the guns, equipment, and locations feel like things that we could see even now. During my most recent play session, I ended up losing track of how long I played because I was just so immersed in the world and the story, and it wasn't even part of the main quest. The different places and planets that you get to explore are really well made, even the procedurally generated ones. Maybe they'll start to repeat after a certain point, but so far, they've been unique for me. I love playing these kinds of games just because of how easy it is to lose yourself in the world and the moment-to-moment gameplay. Like everything from the ambient music and the different environments that you're in, it all just plays so well together. It's such an incredible experience to land on a new planet and walk out of your ship just to see the environment with a beautiful view of space over the horizon. When I first started up the game, I was really surprised about just how good the game looks without any sort of mods, reshades, or anything. I'm used to this kind of quality from, modding the hell out of my Skyrim and my Fallout, but this is right out of the gate with nothing extra, and it looks amazing. The game is beautiful like 90% of the time, and I've already spent about 30 minutes, if not more, just in photo mode while exploring. Now, kind of coming into it, I was a little concerned about the gunplay, but I gotta say, it isn't bad at all. If I had to compare it to any other game, I'd say maybe the gunplay is closer to something like Cyberpunk 2077. The combat UI definitely reminds me of that game. I've been having a really good time though playing in the first person mode as well as third person. In third person, you get to see how cool your character looks, the different suit and the helmet, and it kind of just feels like I'm playing The Division because of the gunplay. The guns so far have all been unique with their own looks and sounds, and there's a lot of customization for weapons and armor, just like in Fallout 4 with the different crafting benches. I also want to add that I don't think that Starfield has any sort of VATS mechanic from Fallout, which to me really helps make the gunplay feel better because the combat is real time, and I'm not stopping my game unless it's to just swap weapons around really fast for my favorited list. Speaking of swapping favorited weapons, this was actually a little pain point for me in the first few hours, but once I figured out how to favorite my guns and just swap them out with a D-pad on my controller, I really started to enjoy the combat a lot more. I was also a little concerned about the general ship gameplay and how it would feel, but after playing it, I've really been enjoying it. While we aren't personally landing our ships and making the grab jumps ourselves, it still manages to capture you because everything else just works so well together. The ship has a whole animation to prep the jump in which everything slowly kicks on and then you warp. So even though I'm not the one actually, going in and making the warp jumps and doing that kind of stuff the way that something like No Man's Sky would have you do, it still immerses you because you're still going through the phases of making those jumps and you're still getting the animations and the sounds and that sort of thing. So in my opinion, they did a great job for what it is. I think it's done really well and I have no complaints on that part. While I personally don't dislike the space ship combat, I don't think it feels bad at all. There are people who have felt like it's too slow or something along those lines. You can further invest in your ship with skill points or credits to make your ship better. You can make it more maneuverable or have it carry more cargo. You can increase your weapon damage, that sort of thing. And that's just a few options. I haven't gone crazy on the ship customization, which is a first for me with these systems because I'm usually on top of these. It's my favorite thing to do is just customize everything. But I have gone in and I changed the colors of my ship a little bit just to make it mine. I will be messing with this system more because there's some cool stuff that I have in mind for my ship. But for right now, I'm just having way too much fun exploring and just doing the different quests. I also want to talk about the companion system really quickly. I basically never use companion systems in these kind of games unless it was dog meat in Fallout 4, but after putting time into other games with really expansive and well-made companion systems, my eyes have been opened. I'm recruiting everyone that I can, and I've been running with Sarah most of the time. I'm planning on upgrading my ship so that I can have a whole crew and not just 2 people on board because I've liked all the different people that I've encountered so far. I feel like the dialogue is well written for not just the main NPC characters, but also other worldly NPCs, and how your companion will just jump into a conversation and say something, and then the person that you're talking to will react to your companion. It's just great. It's chef's kiss. Now, I know I've been bat-testing pretty hard about the game, but that's because I've been enjoying it so damn much. It really is. So far, I'm loving it. Call me McDonald's. Despite that, I am having some issues with the game. I think by far my biggest problem is that the game just doesn't run very well. Looking back as I'm editing the footage, it doesn't look bad, but when I'm playing, the dips in sub 60 FPS is really noticeable. I found it easier to adjust to the lower FPS by just sitting back in my chair and playing on my controller. The frame rate really picks up too when you're inside, so it's not that bad. It's mostly just when you're outside and you're rendering the entire game world. My other complaint would be the weight and inventory management. It just gets annoying really fast, but maybe that's on me for vacuuming every resource within a 20-meter radius. I mentioned earlier that I had some stuff in mind for my ship, and the first thing I'm going to do to my ship is increase how much cargo I can carry, just so I can dump all of my trash, my resources, and everything else into my cargo hold, because I'm tired of getting over encumbered every 5 minutes. It is a Bethesda game, so you're probably wondering, what about the bugs? I myself haven't really ran into anything crazy, just the occasional character or ship getting the zoomies, but otherwise my game has been fine and nothing is broken. This feels like a polished Bethesda Game Studios experience, and I'm happy that it turned out the way that it did. This game is amazing, and I urge any of you that are wanting to try it out to go and try it out if you have the time. I want to say too that I will be doing a full review once I get more time on the game, but for now I just wanted to share my initial experiences and how much I'm enjoying the game so far. I am interested in getting some different perspectives, so I'd like to hear what you're liking and disliking about the game so far if you're playing it. With that being said though, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to drop a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.